Hey everyone, Jordan Budd here with Rockslide in my kitchen with a bunch of Kifaru stuff. Today I want to go through like the Kifaru system, kind of the nuts and bolts. I've been getting a lot of questions that people are just confused, and really it's because of the modularity. And the best thing about Kifaru is that it is modular, and you can make each setup how you want it, and you can, customize it really. But it's also kind of confusing to people. A lot of the lingo especially is confusing. Like somebody will tell their friend that they need a meat shelf, but then they'll ask about a meat shelf, but they don't know if they need to purchase it separately, if it comes with a bag, where it's even located, any of that. But they just know they have to have a meat shelf. So hopefully this video will kind of clear a lot of that stuff up. It's kind of going to be like a nuts and bolts video. So the first thing I'm going to cover is when you get onto the Kifaru website and you look at their hunting packs, there's going to be like, I call it different categories. There's going to be like an everyday carry. It's not really a load hauler. And then you're going to go to an internal frame pack, and then, to their kind of external frame modular system. So this is like an EDC pack. This is the shape charge, a bunch of built-in pockets, zipper pocket configuration, whatever. They're gonna come with like the sewn in shoulder straps, but this is just a shoulder strap, and it's just gonna hang off your shoulder like that. There's no load lifting capability. So because of that, just to put a number on it, I would say like 30 pounds or more. I mean, it's all gonna be getting carried on your shoulders. So you can buy a hip belt with this, just to kind of help keep the pack in place really, and maybe put a little bit of the weight on your hips, but a lot of the weight's going to be on your shoulders. So these packs, they're just smaller. They're going to be smaller packs anyways, but they're good for like travel, everyday carry to the office. I have the Kifaru Antero that I carry every day, just around with my computer and everything in it. And then the shape charge I've been using as like a computer bag. When we're calling coyotes a lot, I put all the coyote hunting stuff in it. When we're out guiding, I kind of put like kill kit, extra gloves, extra candy bars, whatever, things like that in this. So then we're going to have the internal frame packs. This specific one is the Terriol. The 14er is going to be the same thing. The Hooligan is probably going to be close. I haven't got my hands on the Hooligan to really know if it's exactly the same. But this is going to be your internal frame pack. The stays are actually inside the bag itself, so it's not like you can swap bags, or you don't have to buy a frame when you buy this bag because it's an internal frame. These have 23-inch stays. Basically what that means is it's going to be 23 inches from the bottom here to the top of like the stays, the actual frame. And that's going to be okay for me for a certain extent. For taller people is where it's going to kind of take a turn because of your load lifter angle as far as hauling weight. And just to put a number on it, I mean 60 pounds. It's going to handle more than that, but 60 pounds is probably going to be the max before you're going to want to go to something like the regular frame. So basically, lifting a load off of your shoulders and transferring it to your hips has to mostly do with your load lifters. And these are your load lifters right here. They're going to go from the shoulder strap and they're going to run up and connect to the top of the frame somehow. So like this, you can see there's just a tab loop. It attaches. So a person that's probably a little bit shorter person or a shorter torso, this pack is going to fit them better, and they're going to be able to haul heavier weights and still get that load lifter angle versus people with long torso lengths or just tall people, long torso lengths. And the reason why is because the tall people, if this is their shoulder, you draw a line straight across and you're already pretty much at the top of the frame or so. So you can see your load lifter angle, it's really just pulling your shoulder strap back. It's not going to be lifting it up. And that's what you want. You want the shoulder strap, or you want the load lifter to actually, it's going to pick the shoulder strap up a little bit, and it's going to transfer the weight through the frame to your hips. So if you're a really tall person, you get a lot of weight in this thing, you're going to be carrying a lot of it on your shoulders because it's not actually lifting the load up. It's more of like a stabilizer at that point. It's just going to kind of keep the bag from wobbling and rocking around. So that's the internal frame. And then we'll roll over to the kind of the frame here. So this is the Hunter Lite frame. There's also an Ultralite version of this. The difference being that instead of 5 tab loops sewn on each side, there's 3 with the Ultralite. And I believe the Ultralite has the carbon arrows. Kind of anybody you ask with Kifaru, they don't really recommend the carbon arrows, but they do offer them in case somebody wants to, in case somebody wants to go that route and they know they want to go that route. You can get it in 24 or 26 inch frame height. And that's just going to, again, depend on your torso length. If you have any questions on that, you should just call into Kifaru, and anybody there is going to know how to help you out. They're basically just going to ask for your height, what your pant inseam is, and then they'll recommend a frame to you. I would say anybody like around 6 foot and more, you're probably going to want a 26. I'm 5'10" and I run a 24. I kind of have a shorter torso length. I have long legs. But it's best to just call in and ask. So they come in a 24 and a 26. And then for your stays, you can get composite stays or aluminum stays. Most everybody is going to want composite stays. If you have any like known back troubles or like an irregular shape back, you might want the aluminum, because the aluminum you can kind of bend to the curvature of your back and it might fit you a little bit better. But that's another thing to call Kifaru and ask them on that before you do it. And then with your shoulder straps, there's going to be 2 different lengths of shoulder straps on these newer frames. So you're going to have like a short and a long. The longs are going to be like really barely chested guys. Probably could get the long. It's just going to be a little bit better custom fit. I just have the shorts on here. And you're going to have different hip belt options as well. And you can change these out. So if you buy like a used frame and it has a large belt, you can just, and you need a small, you can just buy a small. So I have like a 32-inch waist for like in men's jeans. So I have a small on here, but you can easily swap them out. I have the little Jordan's frame right here, and she needs an extra small belt instead of a small, so we got extra small belt. I just haven't put it on yet, but that's what it looks like. Super easy. There's videos on that somewhere, I would imagine. So if you are gonna go buy like a used frame, like from Rock Slide, or if you find one on eBay or something, if it's not this frame right here, it's probably like a Hunter Duplex. If it's not a Hunter Lite or the Ultralite, it's probably the Hunter Duplex. This frame just came out not very long ago. So last year actually, so this video is 2019, came out last year in 2018. Before that they had the Hunter Duplex frame, which looks, this has a bag on it, but it looks just like this. They kind of took the center out here for better like airflow, and then they added this crossbar right here, which is actually going to help with the barreling. Like if you strap really heavy or awkward loads on it a lot all the time, it can barrel a little bit. It just flexes. So that's this frame. So it'll flex a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but it will flex a little bit. But this is what the Hunter Duplex looks like. The only real difference is like this center part right here isn't going to be cut out. So you might not get as good of airflow in this. This one's going to barrel a little bit more. Not really a big deal, unless you're going to be hauling some really heavy and awkward loads a lot, and then you want to look at the tactical frame. They still have the tactical frame and it actually, the back looks like this, and it's going to be in 22 inch, so for really short, and then 24 and 26 is what the tactical. And the tactical is going to have a thicker frame sheet, so it's not going to barrel as much. So that's kind of what you got there. The only real difference is on this new frame, they did away with the extra tab loops to adjust your load lifter angle on the actual frame itself, and they did on there. As you can see, there's just extra tab loops, and the reason they did that is because they started putting this sleeve on all the packs, so the sleeve itself actually has the tab loops on it. Okay, what else? Some lingo, I guess, on here. So these are just the tab loops. It's just that's just their webbing. That's the tab loop. Here at the bottom, you're going to have plastic loops. Those are just called common loops, or just the plastic tab loops. There's a couple of them. This is where you're going to attach your meat shelf that's on the bag. So the meat shelf, I think dang near all of the Kifaru packs have them now, but some of the older ones didn't. This is the meat shelf. It's sewn in. These little 3-bar sliders run through those plastic tab loops, and then you can set the meat in there. So it's like a shelf, forms a shelf at the bottom between the frame and the bag, forms a shelf so you can put meat in there. So you don't have to put meat inside the bag. So that's what those are, and that's where those attach. These little tab loops down here at the bottom, you will have a Kifaru clip or a K clip that will attach to those and probably run to the bottom of your bag. So this is what the K clips look like. So they're open-ended on each side, so I can take it off of here, and this is the actual K clip. So you can run it from the back. Oh, I lost it. Oh. So you can run it from any strap, and you can attach it right here, and then that's going to give you some compression on the bottom of the bag and suck it to the bottom of the frame. But the K clips are used for all kinds of things. I think this particular one, when it was shipped, they were using buckles like this, and all of their buckles are open-ended. Some of the males aren't, but like this one is. They're open-ended, so you can attach any buckle to any of these tab loops anywhere. You can, it lets you attach additional straps to go over the entire bag if you want to strap something on like that. Anything like that. But with the Kifaru clip, I think this is how they're shipping a lot of their bags out now, because they got their Kifaru clips back. They were out of stock for a while. Like this, and then it goes right into this tab loop. So a little bit of the different things there and kind of terminology. This is also where you'd attach like a grab it, or the bottom of the new bags are going to have a certain way that they attach, and I'll show you that in a sec, but it's basically these straps right here are going to run through the bottom of the frame and attach like that, and then you can suck them tight. And what that does is it just doesn't let the frame or the bag come off the top of the frame. It keeps it a little bit more solid. Then the other one, you can run something like a grab it through. A grab it is what I have on this pack right now. It's this little guy right here. Works good as it's basically a sling. It's like a load sling. So you can put anything you want to back there. You could stick a turkey in there. You could stuff jackets, anything like that. So you can attach that to, that's where you'd attach that. And then you have these straps right here, and these are like your load stabilizers, also called delta straps. So you can run it, it runs from the kind of your hip belt, and you can run it to the frame, or the bag is going to have the same, little connector right there that you run the strap through. So when you put the bag on, you can run it to the frame or the bag with the bag attached. I run it to the bag. And the reasoning for these is you're going to want to keep them kind of loose like this. So there's some give. When you get it really loaded down is when you might want these. If you tighten them, you're not going to get as much give. So it's just for really heavy loads. It's like a stabilizing feature. When you don't have that heavy load, and I mean like 80 plus, probably 70, 80 plus, is when you're going to want to use those. Lower than that, it's probably just going to hinder your range of motion a little bit. The bag or the frame probably won't be able to move with you as much if those are tightened down. So that's just something to keep in mind. But these are the Delta straps. You just kind of want to keep those loose for the most part, unless you have heavy weights. The modular part of it is one of the modular parts. I can take something like a 22 mag, which is it's probably their smallest pack that actually goes onto the frame. And I can get a fulcrum bag, which is probably their biggest pack that they make, and put them on the same frame. So the frame is like your building block. It's your starting point. It's what you build off of. So I can take this bag and go elk hunting with it. And then I can take a smaller bag and throw it on. And I can go over to the creek over here and I can pack out a client's deer and I can use the same frame. And the reason that's so nice is because you don't just go and buy a pack and like that pack's what you have. You can't really do much else with it. You have this frame, you can do all kinds of things with it. You can put a small bag on it, you can put a large bag, you can put one of the medium-sized bags on it. You can pack meat inside the bag, you can put the bag away from the frame and use the load shelf, pack meat in there if you want to. You could get like the quarter panel or the cargo panel or the cargo net, or even that little grab it. You could put it on the bottom and not have any bag on it at all and just run meat up it like that and just use it as a meat hauler. So it's a really versatile system, and that's how they make it. That's why there's so many accessories and so many bags and some different frame options, because you need to be able to fit your body and kind of fit your needs, because you're probably not going to have the same needs as I would maybe. So that's all something to keep in mind. And then I think that kind of wraps the frame up. And then modularity on the bag. There's all kind of different bag figurations, and there's videos on all of them, whether it's from one of the Rockslide staffers. I've reviewed a few. If you just keep looking at the Rockslide YouTube for Kifaru packs, I've done a few of them. Some other people have done them as well. And then a lot of other people on YouTube have kind of reviewed them. So you can look at all the bags and then look at reviews and see kind of what people are liking. And there's probably somebody that's going to mold to your style a little bit better. And you can kind of see what they're using and go to that. So there's some packs that are going to have PALS matrix webbing all down the sides. And that's so you can attach multiple different belt pockets on each side, different sizes. They make a spotting scope pocket that's a big pocket. And then you can take those off when you don't need them. So like on this pack, on their hunting packs, they kind of got away from doing the solid PALS matrix, and they just kind of put certain points on here. So this pack has 8 points on the back. So I could put 2 belt pockets, which I have one here now, or I could put like a big spotting scope pocket on the back. Or I can take it off and I can not use them at all. And then the lids, they kind of started going to a fold over lid for everything. So it's actually kind of its own integrated lid with belt pocket attachment points here on the top. You can throw a belt pocket on there and not really worry about a lid. Or if you want some extra space or just want the organization, you can put a lid on. This is the organizer guide lid, the OGL. They also just have the regular guide lid, which is just one big pocket. And with the organizer, or with the regular guide lid, it also has belt pockets on the top. So you can put another little pocket on the top if you want to. And then there's other accessories that you could add, like the Sherman pocket. This thing has tab loops all the way around it. The way I like to use it is I just use K-clips and I attach it to the bottom of the frame, and then I can run it up the back. Fits 15 power binoculars in here perfectly, with still room for like a beanie and gloves. And then I usually keep like camera batteries in there a lot, but there's still tab loops on the sides, so you can piggyback it to the back of this. You can attach it to the top and use it as a lid. So there's just a whole number of things that you could use their system for. And so hopefully I didn't forget that much. And hopefully that was kind of a little bit better rundown if you're looking into Kifaru System, to like how the whole thing works. Don't be intimidated, just ask questions. If you get on Facebook, there's the Kifaru Insider page, and you can get requested to be added to that, and you'll probably get accepted, I'm sure. And then you can ask any kinds of questions on there that you want. Browse through YouTube, or just call the Kifaru office. That's probably one of the better things, is just call the office, tell them what you want to do, and then they'll have a pretty good recommendation for you. Just cruise around and look at the pack sizes that you want. This is the Hoodlum. It's 6,500 cubic inches. I like that size for a multi-day trip for me, because I want to be able to put meat in the bag with gear and pack it all out. Or at least the first load, be able to take a lot of gear with me and pack it all out with the meat. So I like this size of bag. When you get into the smaller bags, I use the small muskeg this year, and the problem with the meat shelf can be if you have a lot of stuff in your bag and it's heavy, you get that away from your frame, and it's gonna start like pulling you backwards. Whereas if all of your weight is on the frame, it's gonna carry it as comfortable as it's really built to carry. So that's something to look at. The small muskeg, I used the small muskeg this year, and I'm not a fan of the meat shelf. So when I put the meat inside the bag, it's such a small circumference, and I was by myself trying to put meat into a small bag like that is difficult, and it took me some extra time to be able to do that. So just all kind of something to think about. But just browse around, find the bag you want. Just remember that the frame is going to be the platform that you're building off of. You can do anything with it. Put a number of different bags, different accessories, anything like that on it. So hopefully that wasn't too long, and hopefully it kind of helped anybody that's looking into the Kifaru system.